Unfortunately, it's story time again. And to be honest, if this wasn't so freaking disgusting, it would actually be pretty funny. But I was going about my day, wondering what I should play, and I've got this deep freezer. It's like a big box freezer that you open up from the top, and you put stuff in it. It's made for like mostly meats and stuff, but we just kind of put whatever in there. We don't go into it too often, but it's anything but neglected. And it's got a green light on the bottom of it. Or at least it was supposed to. I just so happened to notice that there was something wrong with it. The green light wasn't on, and there was just a little bit of some sort of fluid on the floor. And immediately my heart sank. I was like, oh no, this is not happening to me. Now on the top of this freezer, we keep a lot of our alcohol. Not for any particular reason, but it just looked nice on top. So I had to quickly, and then not panicked, move all of those bottles off the top of the freezer, take off the little cloth that we have over the lid, and open it up. This was the start of a long day of work. At some point in time, I have absolutely no idea when, the freezer just decided, you know what? Take a little break. It was still cold inside, but being cold and being frozen are two very different things, and I could immediately tell that the stuff inside of the freezer was not frozen. It had a less than pleasant odor, but it wasn't too bad yet. So I go, ah, shit. Everything in this freezer has absolutely got to go in the trash. So I go and I grab the kitchen trash can and I just drag it on over because I know that this is going to be unpleasant. I start pulling out bags of meat, or packs of meat. We had some cheese that I had frozen. There were some bags of fruit. Lots of food that otherwise would have been perfectly good to defrost and consume or cook or do something with later is now going into the trash. Can't give it to anybody, can't donate it, can't do anything. It's got to be disposed of. That's fucking depressing. As I start taking stuff off the top though, and we reach the bottom, everything gets worse. I am blasted with the most horrendous sight and smell I think I've seen in a bit. And I volunteered at Cadaver Labs. I know the depths of disparity when it comes to sights and smells. I've seen human corpses. Legally. What happened was, whatever frost was on the lid and the sides of the freezer had obviously melted. That's some liquid. I don't know which one of the packages wasn't sealed properly. Maybe one of the bags of fruit that I didn't seal up all the way. But some of that had whatever juice was on the fruit. When it melted, it leaked from the bag. Basically, the bottom of the freezer had a everything soup going on. And it contained regular frostbitten frost, some various fruit juices, and blood from meat. Liquid from meat. So this red, disgusting, putrid... Oh god. Just remembering it is making me... It just pooled up in the bottom. There were still a few small packages that needed to be removed from this freezer. It's a pretty big freezer, right? So obviously it was fine to have to just reach in and pull things out. But now that we're at the bottom, I have to go in even deeper in order to reach what's left. I'm literally leaning in, my head in this no longer functioning freezer, fishing out bags and stuff and packages from this soup. Thankfully, there was a bit of like a metal shelf built into like the freezer's container, so it wasn't everything. But it was enough to be absolutely horrible. It was enough to be just the absolute worst thing ever. That was a thing. So after I was done bobbing for botulism, I now have a broken freezer with with a pool of liquid in it, and it's sticky because of the fruit, and it's also incredibly unsanitary because of the meat and everything else. I don't want that in my house. I have to get this shit out of here. It's just little old me. What am I supposed to do? Well, I have to summon up my demons and get this freezer the fuck out of my house. So I unplug it. I could tell that it was still trying to work because I could hear it like kicking on and then dying and then kicking on and then dying, but I can't trust it, so it's got that. I unplug it. I move it out of its position. Keep in mind, these are freezers that you're not really supposed to move. They're not what I would call permanent fixtures, but I don't know anybody who goes around moving these sorts of things. I get to pushing. I push it. I clear a path and I push it. Heave ho, heave ho. I'm exhausted. I've had to move a lot of very large things around my house recently, and this was not on the schedule. But here I am, solo moving a freezer. I get it out the front door, and I've got this welcome mat, and it kind of gets on that, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna ruin my mat. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Big brain moment. I'm able to grab the mat in the bottom of the freezer and slide it across the ground so it doesn't damage the carport, the driveway concrete. And then I move the freezer into the rocks. At this point, I'm sweating. It's hot. I'm lifting a team lift object solo, because of course I am. And the freezer's in the rocks. Now all I have to do is drain this thing, because I can't leave this septic tank of... If I leave the freezer out in the Arizona heat, it'll heat up. I can't. It can't. I have to drain. Luckily though, there is a built-in drain at the bottom. All you have to do is twist the little cap off, and whatever fluid is inside is supposed to come out. Smart. I thought of this. So, I lean down, I unscrew it, prepared to jump back in case that shit comes spewing out. And something worse than that happens. Nothing comes out. Why is nothing coming out? The drain is blocked. Blocked by what, you ask? I don't know. I'd have to get shoulder length deep into a pool of melted nonsense. I'm not doing that. So I can't leave this stuff inside of the freezer, but I'm not about to get wrist deep into it in order to clear the blockage. Which means I have even more unpleasant work to do. I have to tip the entire freezer forward with the lid open. Keep in mind this lid is designed to stay closed because it's a freezer, and of course it is. You gotta keep it closed to keep it cold in. I have to hold this thing open while tipping a freezer and not get any of this nasty meat fruit juice on me. I did it. I tilted it over, it fell on his face. I jumped back like a cat. And all of it came pouring out into the yard. Nothing will ever grow there ever again. Honestly though, that's actually a good thing. That particular part of my yard, I don't want plants or weeds growing, so that's good. But it's still disgusting. Flies are bad this year, and that is most certainly not helping. It's bad enough that my trash can is going to be filled with the triple F until the garbage truck comes and picks it up. The triple F being formerly frozen food. And in the heat, it's going to smell like a biohazard, but there's really nothing that I can do about it. after that was done, I had to take a moment to reintroduce my insides to the outsides. I won't get too graphic with that. And then proceed to take a shower because holy crap, that was absolutely disgusting. So now I'm down a freezer. I had to throw out a bunch of food. I wanted that ham. I really wanted that ham. It was gonna be good. Oh. The struggle is real. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to recently. As always, thank you so much for watching. Sorry if you're a vegetarian or eating. This was disgusting, but thankfully I didn't take any pictures, which I should have done, but I'm glad I didn't, because just thinking about it makes me want to gag. Anyway, I'm done.